Choosing a Bible is deeply personal. Whether it's for yourself or a loved one, or you're helping someone else choose, the first question to ask is, who will be reading the Bible?
A pastor, a church lay leader, a college student, a child.
Knowing who the Bible's for helps shape the conversation and leads to the best recommendation. Then there's another question. How will they be using the Bible?
Some may want a study Bible packed with notes and cross-references. Others might prefer a simpler text. Still others like space in their Bible so they can journal their reflections. There are Bibles for devotional use, parallel Bibles for comparative study, reading Bibles arranged like a book without chapter or verse numbers. And there are digitally enabled Bibles like Filament, which has an exclusive feature that connects the physical text to rich digital resources.
Knowing who the Bible's for and how they'll use it helps you help them choose the right format for their spiritual journey. But then there's another big question. Which translation?
There are lots of Bible translations on the market. But what's the difference between them? There are two broad philosophies of translation. One is word-for-word translation, the other meaning for meaning. Word-for-word translations try to stay as close to the original language texts as possible. That's good, but it can produce a wooden, stilted translation that's frankly hard to read. Word-for-word translations can also sometimes miss the true meaning of special words that don't have an exact English equivalent. Meaning-for-meaning translations are a little different. They prioritize translating the exact meaning of the words and sentences in clear, accessible language. Meaning-for-meaning translations result in a complete translation that uses the exact number of words necessary to communicate the precise meaning of the original texts, improving understanding and comprehension.
Both approaches have their strengths, and both are useful for studying the Bible.
The scholars behind the New Living Translation, the NLT, use the meaning-for-meaning translation philosophy. They meticulously translate the meaning of words and sentences to produce the ideal combination of accuracy and clarity for contemporary Bible reading.
I know many of the scholars behind the NLT, and they're brilliant. They understand that the most accurate translation is one that's faithful to the actual words in the ancient manuscript and conveys what the original authors intended. In other words, getting it right and getting it across.
For example, when a single word in the Greek can be translated with a single word in English without losing or confusing the meaning intended by the original writer, that's what the NLT uses. But when a single ancient word can't be rendered literally in our language, the NLT experts use the number of words necessary to express the precise meaning of the original text. This makes the NLT both beautifully accurate and remarkably clear.
One of my favourite examples is in Philippians 1:27. Now, most translations have something like, "Whatever happens, live lives worthy of the gospel." Now, that's absolutely fine, but Paul uses a very specific word here, politeuesthi. It gives us the word politics, and yes, it means to live as a good Roman citizen. Here in a town like Philippi, where Roman citizenship was highly valued, this was a very potent word. Paul is saying live by the values not of Roman citizenship, but of our heavenly citizenship. And the NLT captures this perfectly. This is what it says. Above all, you must live as citizens of heaven, conducting yourselves in a manner worthy of the good news. Those words must have really got people thinking here in Philippi.
A team of over 100 scholars, translating directly from the Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek texts, worked tirelessly for years to produce a translation designed for both personal reading and in-depth study. The rigour of this process ensures that readers are getting not only a faithful translation, but also one that speaks clearly in today's language.
The NLT delivers on three big promises. It's accurate, it's understandable, and it's audibly enjoyable. In other words, it's faithful to the original language texts, it's easy to follow, and it sounds fantastic out loud, speaking to the head and the heart.
During the translation process, the NLT is read aloud, with an ear for cadence and flow, to ensure that the text sounds natural and engaging in public.
So the NLT is accurate and clear, which is exactly what the original authors intended. And because it's so accessible, it means that it's great for private memorization and public teaching, which is also what the original authors wanted.
Whether for personal study, group discussions, sermon preparation, or public reading, the NLT conveys the living nature of God's Word in a way that resonates with all readers.
The Apostle Paul gave a famous speech right here. It's recorded in Acts 17. And some translations make Paul's opening words sound a little bit rude. You are ignorant of what you worship, they say. But Paul wasn't being rude. He was being polite and really smart. He was picking up on words he'd seen on an altar down there to an unknown God. And the NLT draws out this wordplay around the Greek word for unknown. Let me read to you. One of your altars had this inscription on it: to an unknown God. This God whom you worship without knowing is the one I'm telling you about. And with that clever segue, Paul goes on to make his brilliant public case for Jesus.
The accuracy of the NLT is trusted by pastors, teachers, readers, and professors around the world. Its clarity allows everyone, from skeptics to seasoned scholars, to understand the Bible deeply and engage with it meaningfully.
Whether read privately, studied in a classroom, preached in a sermon, or shared in the public square, the NLT's balance of accuracy and clarity makes it a powerful tool for personal growth and community transformation.